And good evening, everybody, and welcome here as we are getting set for our first race of the season for the PCSRA Autozone Amateur Series return. Getting ready for what will be a fun Lucas Oil 200. Here is the grid. On the pole is Curtis Glover. Alongside him is Marcus Sellers in the 6, Pete Ramirez in the 35, and the 25 of Daisy Flowers. Amy Pruitt, Michael Anderson, Kevin Lambert, Marcus Thatcher, Tommy Montgomery, Blake Morris, Liliana Batter, Esther Roberts, Tina Jones, Zach Lambert, Nina Cambridge, Lucas Albon, Ben Carpenter, Dalton Jacobs, that's who it is, Ingrid Pollard, Angela Thornburg, Paul Walker in the 57. I did not write that down. I'll go ahead and write that down. Or hang on. Make sure I put it in here. Yeah, Paul Walker. I forgot to write his name down. My bad. Okay, there we go. Paul Walker. Sorry about that. 48 of Drake Robertson. Jennifer Power, Ariel Moore, Patrick Combs in the 69. Aaron Hornish, Ryan Madison, Dan McAllister, Alex Winters, Natasha Drummond, Luca Rosso, Carolina Bradley, Blake Peppers, Stephanie Carlson, 73 of Natalie Fisher, and the 5 of Alyssa Albon. Let's get these cars going.
Sorry. I ran into the pool table on my thigh.
And if Toby was in this house, he would have been laughing, saying, "That's good. Look at that mess." Anyway. All right. These cars are now rolling off behind the pace car.
I'm in here watching this movie called Avenging Angela with Sylvester Stallone in it. And there's this tin man trying to get to his boss's daughter. And he goes, "You never quit. You guys never quit, do you?" "Frankie, did you say something?" And he went, "Nothing, man. I didn't say nothing." And then he did it again, and he goes like this to him, "Shut up!" By hitting him in the ass.
Today's race analysis, it is 80 laps around Daytona International Speedway for 200 miles. These drivers cannot make it 80 laps without having to make a couple of pit stops here in today's race. And I think both of my Reese's, wait, where did my Reese's go?
I didn't touch him.
Unless I put them in my room.
You might have.
Or put them in there.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I did? Okay.
They're right here.
In the freezer? Okay, I didn't know.
Reese's white chocolate?
Yeah, I just put it in there. Anyway, green flag is out. We're racing the Lucas Oil 200 driven by General Tire. My brain's going nuts today.
I knew if I did, I would have to buy him new ones.
I should have told Michelle. By the way, I'm talking to my roommate about this. I should have told Michelle that Toby owes me over $500 in stuff he has stolen from me.
Oh my goodness.
Because I'll have to tell Tequila that.
Yeah.
And I'll have to write down a damn list what he owes me. Yep. So Pete Ramirez back as I'm going to go ahead and get back on topic here. I was talking to my roommate Steven. Pete Ramirez has taken the lead. This is a different Daytona version than what I had, because I don't have the 2002 version, which could be a board fest. As the 35 of Pete Ramirez takes the first lap of the race. There's the driver list, by the way. All 36. You don't have to check down the description for the starting grid. Excuse me there. Tommy Montgomery in the 60. What did you drop, Steven? Oh. Michael Anderson in the 2. As Tommy Montgomery in second. Leading the way is the 29 of Kevin Lambert. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 rookies in this series. The other 20 are veterans, so inexperience versus experience will definitely come into play here tonight. Liliana Beta, currently our leader. Liliana Bater ran last season. So did this driver, Tina Jones, who's taken the lead, the only Indian driver in the field. Back for another season of the AutoZone Amateur Series. All the practices have been done during the daytime. We're running this race at night. 3 laps complete of 80. We're working lap number 4. Hopefully everybody's having a great start to the 2023 season. Going to be interesting to see how these drivers are going to adapt to this kind of racing. Daytona also has a lot of different changes. Of course, the pavement coming out of the tri-oval has been made. We've also had some safer barriers added since we were here last at Daytona. Ignore it says the Coke 0400 logos because it's not the Coke 0400. It's the night version of Daytona. Tina Jones currently the leader. Here's a battle for second between the 30. That's the 3 of Angela Thornburg as she's passing the 32 of Dalton Jacobs. And I misspelled Jacobs here. That's my bad. I will fix that right now. There we go. Sorry about that. I was typing too fast trying to write down this entry list so that way I can memorize this list. This series is like the ARCA Menard series of the PCSRA. 16 rookie drivers, 20 veteran drivers. All 36 have one goal in common: to finish top 5 in the points to get a charter for the Truck Series in 2024. And all these cars are 40 by 60. So that way nobody gained an unfair advantage over the other competition drivers. Angela Thornburg, a driver I've never heard of before. Jennifer Power, I have heard of before. Same as this driver, Patrick Combs in the 69. Of course, these ARCA cars have the ARCA Menards yellow banner with the General Tire spoiler. Yellow on one side and red on the other. There they are. But they're running Goodyear rubber and not General Tire. As Jennifer Power in the 43 pushing, that's the 07 of Ryan Madison. And Angela Thornburg currently still the leader. Well, as soon as I say that, here comes the 07 of Ryan Madison. Ryan Madison, a driver I've heard of in the what was then called the Hershey's Amateur East Series last season. Driving the 07 this season. Let me see how far can these cars go. They are on the CTS physics. They can go 60, 3 laps, which says to me pit stops will be a factor in tonight's race. So these drivers know fuel mileage will definitely come into play, as Natasha Drummond's trying to pass Jennifer Power and looks like she might succeed. 3 wide right here. 3 wide is okay as long as you don't rub into one another. As the 07 currently leads, that's Ryan Madison. Check the back of the field here. Looks like the 94, that's Ben Carpenter. Possibly about to lose the draft, which that's never a good thing at Daytona. Jennifer Power all the way up the high side. Gonna check something real quickly. Let me look at my options. Okay, looks like everything's fine. I was just checking the options, see what's going on. 07 still leads. Ben Carpenter staying with the pack. So we have put lap number 10 on the board of 80. Very long race, 80 laps, plenty of time to make moves. One thing about tonight's race here at Daytona, of course, we have 36 drivers in this field, as Amy Pruitt's going to go past the 0 of Stephanie Carlson, the only Iceland driver in the field. As Marcus Sellers right behind Amy Pruitt in the 18. One thing to note, you see that yellow line right there at the bottom as Pruitt's going to go for the race lead. You see this yellow line right down there? That is out of bounds. These cars cannot go below that yellow line to advance their position. In PCSRA's judgment, if you go below that yellow line to advance your position, you will be penalized and brought to pit road immediately. As long as these drivers do not advance their position, no harm, no foul. As Marcus Sellers is going to go for the lead. And who's that right behind? That's Blake Peppers in the 7. Right behind Marcus Sellers. So these drivers need to make sure they do not put some tires below the yellow line and make a pass. Another thing about this series, unlike monster trucks and Buffalo Wild Wings you'll see later on this year, is that this series does not have a charter system other than the Monster Energy series. Monster Energy does not have a charter system. And like I said, this is the series that if you finish top 5 in the points, you would automatically go up to the truck series for next season. In the event of a tie, so let's say for instance, 6th place, if you finish 6th in the points and you end up finishing in a tie for 5th, the final transfer spot, then both of y'all will go up to the truck series next season. As Angela Thornburg has gone back to the race lead. Zach Lambert right there in 2nd. Drake Robertson in 3rd. And that's Ingrid Pollard in 4th. Ingrid Pollard, no relationship to NR driver Stephen Pollard III. Tommy Montgomery, all these drivers back here. They're trying to make sure they don't get caught up in the dreaded big one that we always talk about on Super Speedway Racing. Because a lot of times when we talk about restrictor plate racing, drivers tell me You got to avoid the dreaded big one that really can sweep up half the field. There you see what I was talking about with the 3 wide there, with some drivers putting both left side tires below the yellow line, but as long as you don't put all 4 below the line, you don't advance your position, no harm, no foul. Curtis Glover in the 68. There's Alex Winters making his presence up here at the front. Alex is the brother to April and Annie Winters. Of course, Annie Winters lost her spot in the Monster Energy Series and dropped down to the Buffalo Wild Wings Series. And April Winters will be turning 18 years old next month, which means she will miss the Truck Series season opener, but will be able to run the Buffalo Wild Wings Series opener at Ricky Raceway later in the year, which I'm really excited for that series to be brought back up to this channel. I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. Here's the schedule, by the way, for the AutoZone Amateur Series. Voila. So we're going to go from our first super speedway, which is Daytona, as we got a battle for the lead. That's Lucas Albon, the 01. So the schedule is this. We're here at Daytona to start the season. Next month, we'll be heading to the West Coast in Seattle to race on a short track at Castle Gorge. And Castle Gorge will be like a mini Pocono Raceway, and we're definitely looking forward to that, as these drivers will run 200 laps around Castle Gorge. Of course, that track, brand new to the calendar. We'll race the road course at Sonoma. That's the same weekend as Monster Energy Series. Then we won't see these drivers until Bristol, which is also the same weekend as Monster Energy. Then we'll have Charlotte as our 5th race of the season. The short track of Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Mile up there in Wisconsin. Of course, I've been to Wisconsin back 4 years ago when I went with my dad to a vintage race. But we'll be at the Milwaukee Mile. Then IRP, Knoxville Raceway. That's the only dirt track on the calendar. Chicagoland, Armory Digital makes its appearance to the AutoZone Amateur Series schedule, as Flowers is trying to take second away from Pete Ramirez. And that is the 5 of Alyssa Albon taking the lead. Then we have Armory Digital said Pocono, Kentucky. Kentucky will be the same weekend as our first elimination race for the Monster Energy Series. Kansas, Talladega, and Toronto. That is your race calendar for this series. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the roster back up. Alyssa Albon is the sister to Lucas Albon. These drivers are not, those two are not related to current F1 driver Alex Albon, who drives for Williams in Formula One. Amy Pruitt going to the race lead. These drivers have been doing 3 wide. 3 wide's fine. 4 wide can get a bit sketchy and be a death sentence. So far, these drivers are just being tamed, calm, and cool. Those are completing 19 laps, working lap 20. Daniel Vols up here in the booth at Daytona International Speedway. The opening round of the 2023 AutoZone Amateur Series. These drivers will be a 1/4 of the way through this race. And like I said, it will be almost a month since we will see the AutoZone Amateur Series drivers. That will be at our next race, which will be at Castle Gorge. That same weekend, we'll have Buffalo Wild Wings and Monster Energy Series from Phoenix. So that will be a fun race. Of course, we'll have the non-charter race from Phoenix. Alyssa Albon's about to lose the lead to the 73 of Natalie Fisher's. We're now a fourth of the way through the race. This series has 15 races to contest. Most of these tracks are short tracks. Most of them are going to be part of the weekend with Trucks and Buffalo Wild Wings series. Of course, they will start in Florida. They will end the season in Canada, along with the other 3 series. Of course, they will run 200 laps to end the season at Toronto Lakeshore Speedway, which is identical to Dover Downs International Raceway in Delaware. Natalie Fisher currently our leader. If you lead a lap, that's 5 bonus points for leading a lap. As here comes the 97 Esther Roberts, but here comes the 2 of Michael Anderson. 73 right near the wall. As these tires start to go away and fuel start to burn off, these cars are going to start slip sliding around. Haven't checked the field to see if they're okay. There's Dan McAllister in the 63. Checking back here, make sure these drivers are doing okay. So if we don't get a yellow in this one, I guarantee you at Castle Gorge we'll get our first yellow of the season. Because Castle Gorge is a short track, and short tracks can be short track tempers. So these drivers will have to keep their cool in that series as Alyssa Albon takes the lead. And unlike Trucks, Buffalo Wild Wings, and Monster Energy Series, this series will not have a playoff system. It's basically almost like in old NASCAR 2003 and all that. Driver with the most points wins the championship. Simple as that. As Angela Thornburg has taken the race lead. Binder is Blake Peppers, who's in the second position. As Ryan Madison in the 07. Passing the 97 Esther Roberts, as Roberts is going to get 3 wide there. So far, these drivers are just being respectful to one another, which is something you normally don't see at Daytona. I think they realized first 70 laps is give, last 10 laps take. If you saw me mute my mic, I had to mute it because my roommate was talking to me. Telling me something interesting. There's Thornburg, there's Ryan Madison. So now the question is this. These drivers cannot go, like I said, these drivers can't go 80 laps without having to make a pit stop. 59 to 63 laps is the fuel window. These drivers are in their window, will be in their window within the next few laps. So if we get a yellow at the midway point of the race, these drivers may think about pitting now. They don't have to pit anymore the rest of the day. Or the rest of the night, excuse me, not rest of the day. We're at nighttime, boys. GG. Excuse me. There's Marcus Thatcher about to pass Ryan Madison. Marcus Thatcher, one of 16 rookies in the field. We have rookies versus inexperience. Or no, experience versus inexperience, excuse me. I don't know why I said that, but anyway. Marcus Thatcher in the 10. As they are 3 wide for second there. They're giving each other plenty of room. Of course, these drivers were told in the drivers' meeting Just don't bump draft through the corners or you're going to get into a big wreck, because these cars do not, these bumpers on these Gen 6 cars do not line up, as Pete Ramirez is going to take the lead from Marcus Thatcher. Special thank you to Cody Smart and our Triple B clan for taking care of the pre-race show here tonight to kick off the 2023 PCSRA season. Of course, they will be there for the post-race show and all that for most of these races. And of course, we got drivers that we like, drivers who we've never met, and all that good stuff. As Alex Winters is in the second spot. Let's take an onboard of the 03 from the cockpit. You see how much he's not turning much. Of course, Daytona was repaved in 2011, so the pavement is not wearing out tires much, as he's going to try to go for the race lead here. See, he's not turning the wheel as hard because the pavement is not bumpy. You know, it's still a little smooth. There may be some few bumps here, there, and everywhere, but the pavement is a lot smoother than it was back in the day. So we now move on to Zach Lambert. He gets that left side tires right below the yellow line, but at least they give each other plenty of room. That was a cockpit view of Alex Winters and Zach Lambert, showing us how these cars are handling, as Curtis Glover is going to take the race lead. Super happy to bring the Autozone Amateur Series back to this channel. And now this channel will have the Autozone Amateur Series, the Coca-Cola Truck Series, the Monster Energy Series, and the Buffalo Wild Wings season for 2023. Of course, this season for trucks and Buffalo Wild Wings, they will have a non-charter series. Division racing for the Monster Energy Series combatants, which they're definitely looking forward to that. As Ariel Moore has taken the race lead. Really curious to see how these drivers are going to, how they're going to race this season. As Ariel Moore's going to take the lead. Who was that was trying to pass? That was Nina Cambridge. Of course, Cambridge is doing a one-off season in this series because of the fact she is a rookie in the PCSRA. And Ingrid Pollard has taken over the race lead. Surprisingly, we're coming up to the halfway point. These drivers have kept it clean since the start of this race. Here comes Amy Pruitt in the 18. So for anyone asking about the 10 drivers, like, because, you know, 6 of them we know we're going to be rookies. There's 16 rookies this season. Some of them were that finished top 5 in the point standings from the East and West series. They moved up to this series to join the other 6 rookies who were already confirmed rides for this season. And now they're racing with 20 other veterans. Doesn't matter how many guys or how many gals we have in this series. The fact is, it's a 36-car field. It's almost like the truck series in real life. Hello, Pace Car. How are you doing? Pace Car driver, by the way, is driven by Triple B panelist Quentin Moore. He is going to take care of the Pace Car duties for the AutoZone Amateur Series this season. He is also one of the panelists that will be on the post-race show that is hosted by Cody Smart, Nathan Orman, Zachary Taylor, which all the Triple B panelists are here this weekend. Surprisingly, these drivers have only been 3 wide. They have not. They don't want to try 4 wide, because 4 wide's a death sentence. As we're checking the back of the field, in what has been a very tamed race here this weekend. While these drivers are clean, it's time for something I like to do on this channel. Turn up your surround sounds and all that yada yada yada. Crank it up, my friends. Gotta love those 36 race cars just zooming by in excess of 190 miles an hour. Gotta love Crank It Up. Crank It Up, by the way, is brought to you by General Tire, the official tire company of the AutoZone Amateur Series, even though they're running Goodyear rubber. So, yeah. So we're going to go back to Tina Jones in the 36 machine. I'm turning this back to TV1. I had to turn the... had to crank it down a little bit so I can do some more commentating. Few laps away from halfway here tonight in the Lucas Oil 200 driven by General Tire. Round 1 of the 2023 PCSRA Autozone Amateur Series. And here comes Ivory Pollard, or no, that's Ingrid Pollard, I'm sorry. Got some cars back here that could be in danger of losing the pack. That's Angela Thornburg, Drake Robertson, Alyssa Albon, who some of these drivers were up front in the early stages of this race. Now dropping to the back. Who is that going for the race lead? That is Ryan Madison in the 07. Ryan Madison trying to... Currently the leader. 01, that's Lucas Albon. He is in second. And are these drivers making pit stops? Yes, they are. Ooh, this could get interesting. Oh, be careful. Careful. Got to be careful. I was not expecting pit stops because they can go 60-something laps. Gotta make sure we don't have a pit lane collision, because boy, they went almost 100 miles. This is going to be really close on fuel. Of course, these cars are on CTS physics. This is their first stops of the night and of the season. Some of them are doing gas and go. 3 cars taking tires. Some of these drivers taking tires. That's interesting. And here come the rest of the leaders. Oh boy. The one thing I don't like is drivers staying out, like Michael Anderson. Let's make sure nobody runs in the back of one another. And looks like they are being patient, so. This is an interesting call here for Michael Anderson, as we're past the halfway point of this race, electing to stay out. The problem is he is by himself, and he's not doing his hopes of possibly winning this race any favors, because you have to come down pit road with a partner. Now he's going to pit by himself, and that's never a good thing. There's Lucas Albon just leaving pit road. Michael Anderson is by himself. Somebody's stuck on pit road. Oh, that's the 57 of Walker. Trying to make sure that tank got full of fuel. Keep an eye on this for the battle for the lead, possibly. So far, nobody ran over each other, so these drivers were a lot smarter not to run in the back of one another. But can they make it the rest of the way? That's going to be a bit interesting. And there's Michael Anderson, just made his pit stop. And Michael Anderson's going to lose a lot of spots. I thought I heard some scraping for a second there. I'm just hearing things. Take these drivers a lot longer to catch right up to the pack. Some of these drivers had problems on their pit stops. And this pack right here is going to chase the top 2 down real quickly. This pack led by the 29 of Kevin Lambert. Some drivers are getting held up back here by the Michael Anderson machine, but they're going to start reeling in that front group right there. Yep, here comes third place. They're going to get right up to the back bumper, and they're a lot faster than the 01 and the 44. They finally got in the 4th gear, but that took them way too long. They were like a few seconds slower, but here comes that second pack starting to reel in this main pack. So Michael Anderson staying out 2 extra laps. A couple of extra laps seemed to pay it off, but is that the only pit stop these drivers can make? Or do they think they can't make it the rest of the way? Something is going to get interesting, as we have possibly 22 cars in this lead pack. Looks like Paul Walker has lost the draft. That's not good, and he's going almost 20 miles an hour slower, and he's still in 3rd gear. Probably whatever happened on that pit stop hurted him. That's a tough break for Paul Walker. But at least the good news is it is only race number 1 of the season. So even if you don't get a good result, you still got 14 races to go. Because like I said, there's no playoffs, there's no chase. It's just you got to aim your goal of making it into the top 5 in the point standings. As Blake Peppers has taken the race lead. And we got Blake Morris lost the pack. At least I can tell the difference between which Morris is who. Daisy Flowers, who led at the beginning of this race. Paul Walker still in last place. So all 36 drivers still in the race and still on the lead lap for now. Some drivers just had some problems getting on the pit road, but remember, this was the first time these crews have had pit stops since last season at the finale. So I bet they were a bit rusty, trying to get the rust off of them. Now, next time out's race at Castle Gorge, I don't think they're going to have any issues with pit stops. Knowing it's a short track and it's a lot, and fuel I don't think is going to be an issue for them as far as that race is concerned. Because like I said, it's a short track, and short track fuel mileage is never an issue. But wait till we go to tracks like Kentucky or so I'm going to pull up the schedule here. I'm going to take this schedule out. So, let's say, let me go over an example as Jennifer Powers taking the lead, and here they come to lap Paul Walker. Daytona is going, wait, never mind, that was really close, 57, nearly LePage the field, good grief. That was really close, that could have been the big one right there. 57 still not in fourth gear. Now is in fourth gear. Boy, that was really close. I was getting ready to talk about the schedule here, but geez, that was really close. Okay, as I was talking about before that happened, you know, Daytona could be, you know, fuel mileage and all that. You look at Castle Gorge. Castle Gorge, Bristol, that's not going to be a fuel mileage race as far as those two tracks are concerned. Sonoma, Charlotte, yes. Milwaukee and IRP, Knoxville, no. Chicagoland, yes. Armory Digital, 50-50. Pocono will definitely be a fuel mileage race. Same with Kentucky, Kansas, Toronto, or Talladega, and maybe Toronto. So most of the tracks on the schedule could have fuel mileage. Most of them will probably not. Alex Winters has now taken the race lead as Daisy Flowers and Blake Morris will be the next cars to go a lap down. They're stuck in third gear. Even though they're by themselves, they'll be a few seconds slower than this lead pack. And of course, the field got broken up because of those pit stops that we had back on lap number 40, which was the midway point of the race. Patrick Combs going to take the lead. Of course, Patrick Combs, I believe he's doing this for a one-off. I believe he has a ride in the truck. Yeah, he has a ride in the truck series he's going to be in. So this would be Patrick Combs, I believe, his final season in the Autozone Amateur Series before he focuses his effort on possibly moving up through the PCSRA tier. There's Thatcher. 57 is not going to have a good start to the season, but like I said, you know, this is only race number 1 of a 15-race calendar. Yeah, a lot of cars lost the pack. Like I said, this is a 22-car pack. They have an 8-second lead over 23rd place, which is the 3 of Angela Thornburg. Or Throngberg, I'm sorry. Yeah, Throngberg is the driver. I do apologize if I butchered the name up. But like I said, it's going to take me some time to get used to these drivers in this series. And here comes Blake Peppers to the lead. Here comes 2 more lap cars. Daisy Flowers and Blake Morris. They're about to get put a lap down. Now, let's make sure they don't LePage the field, or we could have our first caution of the night. Remember, they're a lot faster than these drivers. Oh, that was not smart. That was not smart by Daisy Flowers. She nearly LePage Blake Peppers. That could have been the big one. And the more this lead pack continues to grow, the more it's going to help these drivers catch right up. Because there's Amy Pruitt, 33 cars now on the lead lap, and 2 of them and 3 cars off the lead lap. So apparently they had some issues on their pit stops. Boy, we've had some close calls with lap traffic nearly LePage the leaders. As Kevin Lambert going to take the race lead. As there's Carpenter, Ben Carpenter in the 94, 73 of Natalie Fisher having a good run. Kevin Lambert still leader. There's his brother Zach. Of course, I didn't realize those two were related. So there's this little mini second pack. Alex Winters, the caboose in this lead pack. Natalie Fisher going to go for the race lead. Will these drivers have enough fuel to make it the rest of the way, or will we see more pit stops before this race is over? Boy, that was really close. That could have been almost a wreck, as Blake Peppers has taken the race lead. So, of course, we won't see these drivers for a month. We will see them at Castle Gorge coming up. That same weekend when we go to... That same weekend when we have our Phoenix weekend with the Buffalo Wild Wings and Monster Energy Series. I bet these drivers are ready to get their short track program started. And as I said, there's 36 cars in that will be showing up at race. These 36 drivers are full-time drivers. So they'll be racing at all 15 races this season. Make sure they prove their loyalty. Some of these drivers that don't have R's next to their name, the fact they took part in more than 7 AutoZone Amateur Series races meant they no longer qualified for Rookie of the Year. Like, for instance, Luca Rosso, who took part in more than 7 AutoZone Amateur Series races, not qualified for Rookie of the Year, but is somewhat a veteran who had somewhat of a good rookie campaign last season. Natalie Fisher in the 73. You know, you have, like I said, 16 rookies and 20 veterans. You know, veterans versus inexperience. That really could come into play. And you will see, we're going to see what's going to happen here because we're coming to the end of the race. Amy Pruitt's about to lose these 3 as Tommy Montgomery, Zach Lambert, and Marcus Sellers back here. Here's the second pack, led by, I think that's the 3. It is the 3 of Angela Thornburg, Alyssa Albon, Ariel Moore in this pack with Pete Ramirez. Who's that up on the high side? I can't tell who that is up there. That's Liliana Beta. Carolina Bradley's also in this pack. Pete Ramirez and also Dan McAllister. That's who is in that second pack. Of course, Tina Jones and Blake Morris. Morris has lost the draft. Tina Jones in danger of losing the lead pack to fall back to that second pack. As we are coming to the end of this race here. Already past 150 miles in tonight's race. I bet you fuel mileage is going to come into play at Daytona. As we're 3 wide for the race lead. Esther Roberts makes it work, and she's going to jump to the lead. Right behind her is Ingrid Pollard in second. Good run for the 32 of Dalton Jacobs. These drivers are going to make this is going to get interesting. Like I said, do these drivers have enough fuel to make it the rest of the way? The 97 is pulling out to a big lead, but on a plate track like Daytona, that's never a good thing. And Esther's going to get swallowed up as Amy Pruitt's now all by her lonesome. We get a yellow here, it's going to shake things up. If we get a yellow. Keyword if. I'm not going to say we're not going to have a yellow, but I'm saying if we get a yellow, which that reminds me. Do we have yellows on? Yes, we do. Okay. Just want to make sure. Some of the drivers that were up front before the pit stops happened, not the runs they were hoping for, but as I said, it's only the first race of the season, so. Amy Pruitt not going to have a good start to the season, so tough break for her. The good news is for these 36 drivers, they don't have any damage, surprisingly. I think they all did a good job on their first round of pit stops, not running into one another, which I'm really impressed. How they kept it together and not wadded up some cars in the pit lane is a good thing, and nobody's going to get called to the big orange truck. Of course, that used to be the truck for the what was then called the Reese's Pro Series, but since it's the AutoZone Amateur Series, and Reese's became the Monster Energy Series, the big orange truck is now for the AutoZone Amateur Series. So, there ya go. It's almost like a Putnam City Colors, which I graduated from Putnam City. About to be 10 years, believe it or not. God, that tells you how old I am. Great run for Stephanie Carlson, the only Iceland driver in the field. In that 0, right behind Ingrid Pollard and Esther Roberts leads. Like I said, the question's going to be, as I stated 20 or so laps ago, was that our only pit stop of the race, or do these drivers think they can't make it the rest of the way? They are in that window to make it the rest of the way, but do they have enough fuel? Some of these drivers did not take tires on that first round of pit stops. Some drivers took right side tires. And some of those drivers that have been on the same set of tires since the start of this race. Is tire wear going to be a factor in this one? That's something we don't know, but we're going to find out very soon. Some of these drivers back here, not the runs they were hoping for, as Alyssa Albon has fallen back to this second pack. Kevin Lambert, we have 22 drivers in this lead pack. They have a 9-second lead over the 30 of Ariel Moore. And if they're not careful, they may lose this pack and fall to that second pack, which I think would be a safer pack in case we have the big one. Drake Robertson, a good run for Drake. Some of these underfunded teams, like in real life, that don't do well, but here in NR 2003, they just amp it up. We're getting closer to 10 to go. Amy Pruitt could be a factor before this is all said and done. And she could determine who would win this race and who would not. I'm surprised these drivers are trying to go 200 miles on just one set of tires, to be quite honest with you, because normally at Daytona, if you go that far on tires, you could end up possibly blowing a tire out and possibly causing a wreck. Surprised tire wear is not a factor, to be honest with you. Of course, tire wear's on ×1, along with fuel. As we hit that dreadful number that David Heller likes to say all the time, lap 69. We got 11 laps to go. And I'm going to throw a little disclaimer alert. Ignore the fact when I get ready to export the results that I've already done some races, because I was pre-recording trucks, Buffalo Wild Wings, and Monster Energy Series as of this taping of this race that I'm doing. So just giving you a bit of a disclaimer before any of you open your mouth and say, Danny, why did you have a bunch of exports in there when you're getting ready to export this race? Just letting you know, I'm doing these races in advance to save me some time, so I don't have to do it live when I'm at work or anything like that. You will get a race from me whether I'm at work or not. So keep that in mind and just throw in a disclaimer out to you all. So now you've been warned. If you haven't been warned, I'm sorry. I feel bad for you. Oh, that was really close. Oh boy, this is not going to end well. They've caught Amy Pruitt at a bad angle. That was coming off turn number 4. And the leaders nearly ran over that Toyota out of Kyle Busch Motorsports. Good grief. That was close. You still keep it together. Blake Morris has now lost the pack. That's Natalie Fisher going for the race lead while also putting the 18 car 1 lap down. But like I said, as I was saying this earlier before that lap traffic came into play, so that way, if you all know why I've done why there are some exports already on there, there's a reason why, and because of the fact I did those races before I did this race. Just letting you know in advance. So I'm not going to say a spoiler who won those races. You'll just find out you will find out when they come out. Easy for me to say. Because I would like to pre-record these races in advance. So that way when next year rolls around, it's already done and you guys can just sit back and enjoy the races. I mean, why do you think I had all of the Oreo Cup Series races done in a span of like 3 to 4 weeks? And have them all up on this channel in advance. So, just letting you all know in advance. Curtis Glover has taken the race lead, but for how long is Kevin Lambert's going to take the lead? Pretty soon they'll be catching Blake Morris before this is all said and done. We'll be coming up to 7 laps to racing to go here. And when you see the export, I'm going to put PAAS, which stands for PCSRA Autozone Amateur Series. That's why I'm going to do PAAS when I export these races. Cannot believe we're about to go the entire race without a yellow. That's really surprising me. But something tells me we won't have that. We won't get lucky next time out at Castle Gorge, which you all can agree we are not going to get away lucky. We may get a lucky here at Daytona. I can bet you Talladega and Armory Digital, not so much. Blake's coming out of the trial, and here come the pack. In the trial, they're running 193. He's running 174, so that's a difference of 19 miles an hour. As Dalton Jacobs has taken the race lead. But here comes the question. Is fuel going to be a factor? Because like I said, they're on the CTS physics. These cars right here. Even though, yes, if they pit now, they definitely will make it to the end. But don't say I didn't warn you if we get another round of stops before the end of this thing. And I can't believe some of these drivers have gone almost 200 miles on one set of tires. That's really either they're brave or they're or they've lost their damn minds. I'm going to say the sentence, they've lost their damn marbles. Only in NR 2003 you can predict the future. And they're about to put the 27 lap down. Now, 27, do not LePage the field. Okay, there you go. That was a lot better. I thought that was about to be a disaster. And Alex Winters has pulled out to a big lead, but that's not good if you know what I mean. Second time Blake Morris has been put a lap down. And that big lead that Alex Winters, had, now he's regretting it. You cannot pull out a big lead on this pack. They will catch you in a hurry. And that's what happened to Mike Anderson's going to take the lead as we're going to come up to 3 laps of racing to go. Remember, they pitted around the midway point of this race. And Mike Anderson went a couple of extra laps on that first stint of the race as Natasha Drummond's going to take the lead. But was that too soon? You don't want to make your move too soon or you're going to be a sitting duck. There's Marcus Thatcher. Any one of these 22 cars in this lead pack can win. Oh, pit stops. Yep, pit stops are going to be a factor. I freaking knew it. So Drummond can't make it. Neither can, who's that just peeled off in the back? So we got 2 to go. That was Glover. I knew pit stops were going to be a factor before the thing was over. Oh, man. Could this put Mike Anderson in the catbird seat of him making it the rest of the way? Because like I said, he went an extra couple of laps. But that's a tough break for Drummond and all that is, do these drivers have enough fuel? We're coming to the white flag next time by. Can they make it? For some of them, no, 48 can't make it. White flag, 1 more lap to go. Oh man, fuel mileage has come into play in this one. I bet nobody saw that coming. Who would have thought fuel mileage at Daytona would come into play? As somebody was mowing the grass. And we got to be careful not to LePage the field. 97 leads, but do they have to pit? That's the problem. Do they have to pit? If they do, this could be bad. Looks like Roberts is going to make it. And Esther Roberts is going to win the Lucas Oil 200% driven by General Tire. What a crazy start to the season. The return of the AutoZone Amateur Series was crazy. I was not expecting fuel mileage to come into play. And my goodness, did it come into play big time. And Esther Roberts will pull that number 97 into victory lane. And now they're out of fuel. Holy macaroni and cheese with crispy bacon bits. Damn it, I made everybody hungry. Son of a gun. Oh, what a race. Great way to start the AutoZone Amateur Series, Boils. You just made everybody in the YouTube community hungry. Sorry. But Esther Roberts going to go to victory lane. Natalie Fisher, so close, will settle for second, but great run from her. Ben Carpenter finished in third. Good job to him. Lucas Albon will be the rookie of the race, finishing in fourth. Tina Jones, fifth. Michael Anderson, who stayed out a couple of laps on that first round of stops, he came home in sixth. Marcus Thatcher, seventh. Stephanie Carlson, eighth. Great run from her. Jennifer Power and Nina Cambridge will complete the top 10. As you look on down through the remainder of the finishing results, tough break for a number of drivers who unfortunately could not make it on fuel. Beta actually finished the race, not retired out of the race. I will have to fix that in the results. Look at these names here. Blake Morris, not the run he would have liked. Paul Walker, Sellers, Pruitt, Flowers, whatever happened to them. Oh, somebody was smoking. But the race is already over. Oh, that's Beach Ramirez. I think we had an incident after the race. Let's actually investigate that right now. The race is already over. Oh, she blew up. Well, the engine went kaboom. Oh, man. Let's get it back on this view. So the engine blew up right after the race ended. At least you finished the race. But back here, a number of drivers, tough break for them. Some of these drivers were up front before the pit stops happened. And, well, that's the nature of the beast, if you ask me. But Esther Roberts starts off the season with a bang as she will go to victory lane here tonight at Daytona International Speedway. And she will be your points leader heading into your next AutoZone Amateur Series race. That will be in a month's time from Castle Gorge. Hope you guys look forward to Castle Gorge. I'm looking forward to that race, if you know what I mean. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race from Daytona. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the PCSRA crew today. We've shown you your full finisher results all the way down to 36. You will see your rookie points and your overall points heading into our next race at Castle Gorge in a month's time. Don't forget, next month we will have Speed Weeks from Ricky Raceway. We'll have the Monster Energy Series Reese's Clash, which will be a fun race at Ricky Raceway. Then we'll have our non-charter races for Trucks and Buffalo Wild Wings Series, also from Ricky. And then our points-paying events for Trucks, Buffalo Wild Wings, Monster Energy Series from the Ricky Raceway. And then we'll have all 3 series at Atlanta. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing these drivers next time out at Castle Gorge in a month's time. That's on the weekend of when we go to Phoenix for Buffalo Wild Wings and Monster Energy Series. But until then, until we get to our race weekend from Castle Gorge, I've been Daniel signing off, and you have been watching yet another broadcast courtesy of the PCSRA, the best in racing since 2017. Don't forget to join the PCSRA Discord, link down below in the description. So until then, until Castle Gorge, good night, everybody, from Daytona.